Oh, there. Okay. Okay. June dev call. The record minimum number of points on the agenda just started. Okay, so let's talk about GSOC first, just because. So next week we have midterms, and we still have 5 students, and I guess I haven't heard any complaints, so I'm assuming that there's not going to be any troubles with these students, although obviously that's up to the individual mentors. Yeah, for anyone who's interested in what's going on so far, most of the students have actually made an effort to blog or sort of document their progress somehow. So 3 of the guys actually have a blog, and might even be 4 of the guys. Alfredo is updating everything on the wiki page. And am I missing someone? No, I think, yeah, the other 4 have a blog: Abhishek, Marcus, Stefan, and Jan. And you can also follow like they also posted a link to their GitHubs, and you can do stuff. You can check out their code and have a look at their stuff. Yeah. I don't really want to actually sort of go into the details of the individual projects.
No, I don't think we need to.
Yeah, we don't really need to, so.
Yeah.
Yes, some of them have actually, like Stefan has already put up some videos, so you can actually see the stuff in action. Although I guess the radar lends itself well to that. Yeah, everyone's been doing work so far.
Yeah, I've been pretty pleased with what I've been seeing coming out of them in their writings and updates on their blogs and the wiki and all that. So it seems like a pretty good start to me, at least, not from the mentor perspective, but from an observer.
I don't know, Nathan. Do you want to add anything as a fellow mentor, or Tim?
Not really. I mean, I've also been just kind of following the blogs, and they've been doing really well.
Cool. Yeah. So just to sort of put it out there, what's happening? There's also going to be a mentor summit in I've forgotten the date. I think it's October something, middle of October, and Sylvain and Sebastian are going to represent us there. Us being GNU Radio community as a whole. Yeah, I guess that'll be fun for those guys. And also, what's also very good news is that all of the students have said they'll make an effort to try and come to GSOC. And I know the Germans have already started looking flights, might have even booked them. So it's very clear that we'll have a full lineup of GSOC students into GSOC. Yeah, so that's great news. Questions in real life.
Easy.
Cool. I don't think there's anything else we really need to talk about at this point. GSOC specifically. Tom, can you sort of give us a little update on GRCon?
Yeah, so we're plugging away with GRCon. Everything seems to be in pretty decent shape. All the big stuff, I think, is handled. We're still working out some deals with some of the sponsors, but we're getting a really good group of sponsors this year. Good as in like more than there was last year even. Let's see. Trying to think of what else, because we just had a call on this on this past Monday, but it was more detail oriented. Yeah, I'm not too sure really what there is to update on. It really is just kind of one of those keep spreading the word. The agenda's up, the registration's up. I think we're kind of in a little bit of a the pattern of or the period of time where there's not a whole lot to really do or even talk about. We'll probably start really ramping that stuff up come August, but right now everything just feels pretty good where we're at. I guess does anybody have any questions about where we are with the conference?
Did we talk about the the schedule regarding working groups?
We haven't really. I think we're going to talk about that more next week. And I think it's going to be one of those things where everybody has it seems to be coming down to two opinions on how to manage the working groups, and it's either kind of a free for all every day for all working groups, or a little bit more structured. Each day we have a couple of working groups. And I think we're just going to kind of split, and some people are going to want one, some people are going to want the other, and so eventually us as the organizers are just going to have to come down and make a decision and go with it.
One thing we can put out there is that working group leaders should be ready to do. You'll be required to do work for the conference.
Yeah, no, actually that's a good point. As far as making the decision, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to see if we can get a call going with you, myself, Michael, and John Mulsbury, and the chairs of all the other working groups, so that we can discuss this together and see if the chairs themselves have any input on how they would like to see this thing run. And then we can, from there we can start tasking the chairs with, the task, getting prepared for it and everything. So yeah, let's I guess put that as an action item for us, is to try to set up a call with all the working groups chairs in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think that wraps it up pretty much. It's going to be an awesome conference, I believe. You can check out the agenda. Yeah. It's all very interesting. Yeah, but we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, working groups. Nathan.
So Volk had a call a couple weeks ago. Just this morning, I added some issues from that call to the issue tracker. Most of them are, well, I guess there's 3 of them. 2 of them are fairly easy that pretty much anyone can pick up. If there's anyone out there that wants to get started contributing to GNU Radio for whatever reason, they're basically general kind of grooming things. That's about it. Otherwise, I'll just kind of take them off as I have time. And I know that, I guess we have a new working group chair, Doug, and he's got a meeting, or he's got a request for people to tell him what time is good for a meeting. That's about all.
Yeah, sometime next week. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's part of the biggest news we have right now from the working groups, is that we finally have a leader for the coprocessor/accelerator working group. That's Doug Geiger. We asked, he accepted, and is stepping up to it. So he wants to get a call together, and one of the big things with any of these working groups is to build the community around them. So we've had a lot of discussions on IRC over the past couple of weeks that I've noticed. I had a number of discussions when I went to the new SDR workshop in Boston the other week with people who seem to be coming into the SDR world from a more hardware radio building background, and they're familiar with DSPs and FPGAs and the accelerators that we're all interested in. So they all seem to both have an interest in this problem and some experience to lend to it. So I think that there's a good group of people that we can hopefully pull together to help us really get our hands around this issue. So I think that's Doug's biggest challenge right now, is to build that up.
Nice, interesting. I mean, obviously he just started, so we won't be able to give a report, but maybe we get something together by the conference. That would be interesting. And if not, then the conference is definitely a good place to kick off the work, because we have time set aside for the working groups to do stuff.
Yep, agreed.
Okay.
We don't really have representatives from the other working groups, so.
Yeah, GRC, I don't know. I'm just gonna put down. I'm taking notes, by the way. I'm writing it directly to the wiki page.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, so we still need people who actively want to become part of that working group. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sebastian's still been doing check-ins and taking patches and bug issues, and we've been merging them in. So he's still been active, and we're still progressing well with that. But yes, agreed. We still need people who can help him do really cool stuff there. Because I think we all.
Does he have info on? Does he have info on like when they meet? I gotta try to get Seth to get on those calls. I know he's been pushing a little bit of GRC stuff.
Who's Seth?
No.
He's a Virginia Tech guy who's we're trying to get ramped up on radio.
And he's already made a couple of pull requests against GRC to fix a couple of things, like the console at the bottom of GRC, which was a little buggy every now and then.
Yeah.
Looks like Seth fixed that. Sebastian actually had an interaction with him on that pull request to kind of fix things up, do it in a little bit more of a proper way that Sebastian wanted, and Seth did it. And so that was actually merged in last week. So yeah, he's actually already been contributing. Yeah, I think you're right though, Tim. Let's try to contact Sebastian and see if he can set up a working group call in the next month to again try to pull people together and see where we are as far as the items that he's already hit and priorities on the other items.
Yeah, I know Seth has a list of 2 or 3 extra GRC things he wants to fix. It'd be good if he talked with Sebastian.
Yes, awesome, cool. Yeah, so let's try to get that Sebastian set that up and make sure Seth's involved.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one thing that has sort of stopped Sebastian from doing that is that if he asks for a call, like, he doesn't know who's going to be there. So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's I identified to help him and hopefully more. Yeah.
Okay. Tutorials very briefly, because we already talked about that in detail last time. We're in the review stage right now. All looking very good. So expect stuff to be ready pretty soon. We still haven't 100% figured out what the delivery platform is for those. Like right now, it's just wiki pages, and we don't want to leave it in that form. But the actual content, yeah, it's very close to finishing.
Yeah, like on that, I've got to finish up based on the last round of edits for mine, but I'll probably do that early next week when I get home. And I think we're pretty much at the stage where even if it's still focused on the wiki, we can start getting a few beta testers.
Yes.
And I think that'll be the next stage, and hopefully by the time we get some of the beta testers through it, we might have a better idea about the proper platform for it. But the content's looking good as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and embedded, I don't know, like Phil isn't here. He's actually...
Yeah, the embedded working group, because I've been working with Phil a lot on this stuff, we have the embedded system out there, the open embedded. I actually just created a wiki page. So if you just go to the GNUradio.org / blah 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 and then /embedded, that kind of catalogs where we are as far as like our GNU Radio direct support of open embedded. And so I've actually got a couple of SDKs and root file systems for a couple of platforms up there. And that embedded page kind of gives you an idea of where we are and where we want to go with that. Philip, for his part, is kind of closing in on a stable version of everything to release, and the open embedded guys are coming up with their next version. So we're very close to having a very, very stable system for open embedded, and Philip's working hard to keep things going like that. So we're really kind of finishing up on that particular part of the problem, and I think Philip's next task is to identify what the next challenges that working group is going to take on, what we want to do with that. And I think some of it might come out of Alfredo's work this GSOC. Philip being the mentor for him and all.
Would it be interesting to get the GSOC students on one of these calls to talk about their stuff, maybe next month? Because we don't have any...
It probably would, yeah.
Yeah. I think that would get people... I mean, right now people still have to make an effort to figure out what they're doing.
Abhishek is on right now. You can try pinging him.
Well, I think next call would be better because as we're coming into the midterm evaluations next week, so the July call, they'll have passed the midterms, and I think have a pretty decent understanding of where they are and where they'll be able to get by the end of the summer. So yeah, I think that's a good idea, Martin, is to try to put a focus on them for the next call.
Yep. Okay, so I can't think of anything else to talk about right now. Okay, so Jonathan wanted to talk about 374, but he sort of can't get on the call for some technical reasons. Yeah. Did he actually write anything? Basically, everything for 374 is done except some bug fixes in the queue and some documentation updates. The target is June 27th. Yeah. It seems like
so basically next week.
Yeah. Seems there's more of a announcement than there's actually discussion necessary.
Yeah, the only thing that I want to add to what Jonathan said is, as he said, there's a few bug fixes. So if anybody has identified bugs to work on for this release, please let us know or get a pull request in within this, the next few days. If you've identified something on Coverity that's a particular problem, or we've actually closed a couple of Coverity bugs recently because of Marcus's work, Marcus Mueller. But yeah, so basically trying to close as many bugs as we know about before the release next Friday.
Okay. All right, guys. Then short and sweet.
Yeah, I think. Let's see. I guess. Yeah, I think we hit the topics we needed to.
Okay, good. Then have a nice day, guys. Yeah, next call is again third Thursday of next month. I put an item on the G Plus page, so you'll have it in your calendars if you like. Working group leaders, please remember to talk about what you're doing. So have a list of things prepared that you've sort of worked on. So just so we can get that over smoothly. I'll contact the GSOC students so they can talk about their own stuff. And since we're kind of like between real big stuff, I think next developers call will also be there's not much to talk about right now. We don't have any big releases upcoming, and GRCon is working pretty well. Okay.
Sounds good.
See you next time. Bye.
Cool. Thanks.